some thoughts on the movie House of Sand and Fog, 2003. It's a drama film directed by Vadim Perelman, screenplay written by Perelman and Sean Lawrence. It's based on a novel of the same name by Andre Dubas III. And the story concerns the battle between a young woman and an immigrant Iranian family over the ownership of a house in California, which ultimately leads to the destruction of a number of people's lives. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Best Actor for Ben Kingsley, Supporting Actress for Shora Agdashloo, and Original Score from James Horner. And I did watch this movie when it came out, but seeing as that's 30 years ago, I have read the script. I had read a couple of reviews, but I'm now going to make some audio notes on what I see. So the cast, it's just a brief word about the cast. Jennifer Connolly plays Kathy Nicola. She's the original occupier of this house. Ben Kingsley plays Colonel Masoud Barani, and his wife Nadera is played by Shora Agdashloo. The sheriff Ron Eldard he plays Lester Burden, and there's a few other folk. Let's get on with it. The opening frame, we see a woman sitting amidst a crime scene. It's at night, and a police officer comes out and asks her, is she Kathy Nicola? And she doesn't answer. Now, this is the backdrop to this movie, which is about the ownership of a property and the dispute that develops between the woman said and an Iranian military officer played by Ben Kingsley, and how the problem over ownership collides into a scenario of death and destruction further down the road. So let's get into the plot. Jennifer Connelly, previously I saw her, a younger version of her, in Once Upon a Time in America, the Sergio Leone film, and she was excellent in that. We then see images of some trees being cut down near a beach, and it cuts to Ben Kingsley's character, and later we see him making a speech at his daughter's wedding, in which he refers to the political transformation in Iran when the religious Ayatollah Khomeini crushed the ruling government led by the American-backed leader whose name escapes me. It will come to me in a second. And so we are aware that Kingsley's character and his family have fled Iran to the United States in an attempt to start a fresh life, presumably a life with a degree of affluence, and are bitter that may have been taken by them by the left-wing Ayatollah government. We get an early picture of Kingsley's character under the Shah. He was in the army and had a status. Having fled to the USA, he was basically had to earn a living, and we see him as part of road construction. And at the wedding, we hear murmurings about the fact that he tries to hide the fact that he's in a basic job, and uses his new son-in-law's position working for the aircraft company Boeing, and suggests that he works for them. So he's clearly struggling to cope with the loss of status, and this is the backdrop to this movie about house ownership. The scene where we see the trees being cut down was on the beach area where Kingsley and his family previously resided. He's now in the business of looking at another property that's coming under auction. This is Kathy's house, and that also is located near the beach. Three of trees. So he's trying to recreate the life, the view, the atmosphere that existed in Iran before the revolution here in San Francisco. And he continues to show us his double life, his life on the construction high road, and he then after work cleans up and returns to looking like the senior military officer that he was under the Shah. Kingsley's wife has great difficulties in adapting to a scenario where she isn't rich and able to be extravagant, and her husband's efforts, hard work, are greeted with disdain when he points out that he's on the verge of buying this property at auction, which will return them to their previous social status. His wife routs him with her noise regarding her having to live like a gypsy, and this brings on a confrontation between the two, where Kingsley clearly is none too impressed with the fact that his wife assumes that she should have the status without having to put any effort into it. But it sort of lays the groundwork really for the fact that the rich, when they lose their grip on their wealth, they struggle, and also draws out the fact that they seem ill-equipped to have any concept about what it's like to be poor, and attribute blame in this case to Kingsley for something that I assume he had little or anything to do with, as he fled the religious Khomeini supporters when the revolution took place. After a promising beginning, the next sort of period of the film sort of becomes a little bit predictable. Connolly's character becomes more and more closer to the debt that's hanged around her neck. She in a temporary accommodation. She doesn't pay the rent. Her credit card doesn't work. She then does a runner, and she's obsessed with getting back to our own house and makes a phone call to the house, and then puts the phone down, and then cruises past the house in her car. She's clearly building up resentment that she's lost the house to these new occupiers. Whereas for them, there's a ray of light that's shone through, reminding them of better days in the past, back in Iran. Barani's intention, of course, was to get buy the house cheaply at auction, and then sell it. There's a distraction in the plot when the girl goes to the house, sees construction underway, and then tries to make out that she's the owner, steps on a nail. It's all rather sort of irrelevant. Kathy's attorney serves notice on Colonel Barani that he obtained their property at the auction because of errors made by the company in evicting Kathy. He really isn't interested in this and points out that he's got a receipt for the payment, and basically states quite clearly that if they want to re-own the property, they have to buy at the market value, which would be yield a profit of over $100,000, and he walks out. So the die has been cast now, and let battle commence. So let's try and summarise. We've now deeply embedded on either side. He is adamant that he has the right to sell the property. She is determined that she owns the house. The policeman starts an affair with her. He then starts to help her and goes beyond any believability, and there's a hint of a sort of racism that develops in his character, which really I don't felt was necessary. Didn't feel is necessary, and the cop is also getting a distorted perception of this new relationship with the girl Kathy. A bit disappointed. There aren't any scenes that really grab you. Kingsley's performance is steady for him, but the other characters, Connolly, very disappointing. I felt her character. Okay, recovering alcoholic, feels that she's being hard done by, but yeah, the visit by the police officer to Barani's house is of some significance. He, going beyond his call of duty, extends his responsibilities to try and lean on Barani with vague threats about contacting members that he knows in immigration, and the sinister aspect of how police can be so corrupt is to be noted. However, in this particular type of movie, I find it sort of rather distasteful. If you like drama, it's certainly kicked in spades here. We've got the relationship between Kathy and the policeman. He's feeling that he wants to side with her and lean on the Iranian colonel, played by Kingsley. Kingsley's relationship with his wife is, to say the least, not exactly lovey-dovey. He's made a complaint to the Police Internal Affairs Department about a visit by the police officer. The Internal Affairs officer contacts the policeman at his home and basically demands that he come to the office immediately or he'll be fired, and on and on and on and on and on. Then Kathy goes back to the house and explains her position and saying that she's got nothing against her husband, but he's obtained the house by deception, not by him, but the fact that it wasn't really for sale. And then the colonel's wife breaks down and dramatically says, if we are deported, we'll be killed by the Khomeini regime. Yeah, it's on a very simplistic level a dramatic thriller, but the script just grates with me, and it doesn't really enable the actors to really get stuck into their roles. Kingsley stands out. That's all I can say for it. The movie is saved by the closing 10 minutes, which I won't spoil it for you, but it's inspirational acting on behalf of by Kingsley, and it's got religious overtones. It's intensely powerful and disturbing, and sets it aside from the previous hour, which, to be frank, has been predictably filled with excess. But the finale, the music is absolutely tremendous. The visuals, visual metaphors are also powerful, and it saves the film from being seen as a very below average drama thriller.